Okay, last question. And this question was really meant to be a give-me question. It's from the 1980s, so it is probably a little bit easier than what you would see on an actual AP exam. But I think a lot of you just have forgotten how to do it. So they want you to find the coordinates of P in terms of T. So basically, you had to integrate each of these and use your initial condition. So this was worth 3 points. So 1 point was for actually integrating 1 over T plus 1 and realizing that that was the natural log of T plus 1 plus C. And for C, we know when T is equal to 1, X is equal to the natural log of T. So when T is equal to 1, so the natural log of 2, X is equal to the natural log of 2. So C is equal to 0. To find Y, we integrate 2t dt, and we get t squared plus c. Again, we have to use the initial condition, so when t is equal to 1, y is equal to 0, so c is equal to -1. So you got 1 point for finding x, 1 point for finding y, and 1 point for considering c in each of those, and that gives us the point the natural log of t plus 1, comma, t squared minus 1. And that was your final answer. Okay, so they want an equation that expresses y in terms of t. So basically what they're asking you to do is to eliminate the parameter. So we know from the previous problem that x is equal to the natural log of t plus 1 and y is equal to t squared minus 1. So I want to eliminate the parameter here. So I'm going to solve for t here. So I get e to the x is equal to t plus 1. So t is equal to e to the x minus 1, and I just replace t in this expression with e to the x minus 1, and that was worth 1 point. Find the average rate of change. Now for this one, we gave, these are p-values. So a lot of you tried to use these as x values when they were not. You had to find the x values that relate to it. So what we need to find is x of 0, and once again we have to go back to the original, knowing that x is equal to the natural log of t plus 1 and y is equal to t squared minus 1. Okay? So I said t squared and wrote y squared. Why is that? I don't know. T squared minus 1. Okay, so then x of 0 is going to be equal to the natural log of 1, which is 0. X of 4 is going to equal to the natural log of 5. Y of 0 equals to -1, and y of 4 equals to 15. So now I have to use the formula for the average rate of change, which is simply f of b minus f of a over b minus a, but I have to use these values for f of b and f of a. So that would be 15, which is f of b, minus -1 over the natural log of 5 minus 0. So I get 16 over the natural log of 5. And that was the answer. Where did the points come from? 1 point for finding x and y values, 1 point for the final answer, and 1 point if you just use the average rate of change somewhere. So a lot of you try to use the average rate of change using this as your x values, and so I did give you 1 point for recognizing you had to use the average rate of change formula. Finally, find the instantaneous rate of change with respect to x when t equals 1. So we just have to remember what they're asking you to find is dy dx, and dy dx is equal to dy dt over dx dt. Now some of you did this differently, but I think this is the simplest way to do it since we're given dx, dy dt, and dx dt. So this, and we're doing this at t equals 1. So this would be 1 over, 2t. So this would be, I was doing x the other way around. So this would be 2 times 1 over t is 1, so 1 plus 1 is 2. And our answer was 4. That was worth 2 points, 1 point for dy dx, and 1 point for the answer. Okay, and that's the last one. Okay, so I will see you guys tomorrow.